Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a site reliability engineer tasked with rolling out some massive new ERP solution, or maybe maintaining a super complex IoT management stack, you already know the intense, sweaty palms pressure of deployment day. Well, today, we're looking at a pretty fascinating shift in how we handle these massive operations. We're going to explore how the Odysseus platform, and specifically its AI reasoning layer called Athena, are completely transforming how SREs manage mid-sized container fleets. Okay, let's dive right into this. Quick question for you, and think about the absolute last time you deployed a multi-container stack. How many tabs does your deployment actually take? Because for most of us, modern infrastructure operations are just a fragmented, anxiety-inducing mess. The systems we manage might be automated, sure, but the actual act of managing them, that's still painfully manual. You know this fragmented reality all too well. When you go to deploy that new IoT stack, you've got a terminal open for your Docker commands, a browser tab refreshing Grafana metrics, another interface open for console service discovery, and yet another one for Vault to handle your secret rotation. Every single tool has its own syntax and its own mental model. A routine deployment just mutates into this exhausting 30 to 60-minute manual ceremony of pure context switching. And hey, it's not a failure of your competence, it is a failure of your tooling. Which brings us to Section 2, the orchestration trap, or basically being caught between two extremes. Platform engineers face what's essentially a Goldilocks dilemma when managing fleets of, say, 50 to 100 containers. On one side, you have Docker Compose. It's super simple, yes, but it hits its limits incredibly fast. No auto-scaling, no high availability, no rolling deployments. Basically, one bad push and your entire ERP system goes down for everybody. But on the other side, we have Kubernetes. It's incredibly powerful, obviously, but it is a massive, resource-heavy enterprise tax. It takes months of ramp-up time and practically demands one or two dedicated engineers just to keep it running. And honestly, that leaves a massive gap in the market. Managing 50 to 100 containers absolutely shouldn't require a dedicated platform team, nor should it be held together with a bunch of brittle shelf scripts. At the end of the day, you just need to run your workloads reliably without drowning in complexity or paying for enterprise features you're never going to fully use. All right, let's move on to Section 3, Meet Athena, and this whole era of conversational infrastructure. So this is where the Odysseus platform introduces a fundamentally new way to manage operations, and it does it through natural language. And right off the bat, notice this remarkably lightweight control plane RAM overhead. It is less than 150 megabytes. I mean, contrast that with the 2 gigs or more typically required just to get a Kubernetes control plane off the ground. Odysseus runs comfortably right alongside the workloads it manages, and it installs with just a single command. And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world impact of that shift. Look at these metrics. Deployment times drop from that agonizing 30 to 60-minute manual ceremony we talked about down to just 2 to 3 automated minutes. Rollback time? It's instant, instead of a 15 to 30-minute scramble to revert everything. And the dedicated platform staff required? 0. But how is it actually pulling this off? Well, the secret sauce is supervised autonomy. This is a system where an AI handles the mechanical complexity and all that multi-step planning, while you, the human SRE, retains strict oversight and the final approval. So think of Athena not as some rogue autonomous bot running wild, but more like a senior SRE sitting right there on call with you. It does the heavy lifting of understanding state and correlating data, but it always respects your authority before actually changing a production environment. Section 4, Conversational Operations. Let's look at what a day in the life of an SRE actually looks like with this tech. Just imagine being able to literally save this to your server. Start a canary deployment of the payment service with a v3.2 image. Use 5% initial traffic, step by 5% every 3 minutes. That's it. That is how a DevOps lead can deploy a complex multi-container rollout now. You just talk to the server. There's no hunting for the exact right CLI flags, no crossing your fingers while executing a 12-step runbook. And here is exactly how Athena translates your human intent into execution. First, it reaches out and initiates the canary deployment via the orchestration API. Then, as the traffic flows, it monitors the split and the live metrics, actively comparing the error rates between the new and the stable versions. Finally, based on the success thresholds you've set, it either auto-promotes the new version or executes an instant rollback. The entire workflow is observable, it's auditable, and it completely replaces your manual stress. Okay, now I want you to put yourself in this scenario. It's 3 a.m. The production API error rate for your absolutely critical IoT platform is just spiking. The pager just went off. You're waking up and you are exhausted. So here is what the 3 a.m. incident flow looks like with Athena. 3 a.m., the error spike is detected. 3:01 a.m., instead of opening your laptop to fumble through a bunch of kubectl commands across 5 different tabs, you simply ask Athena what changed. 3:02 a.m., Athena instantly correlates the audit logs, the metrics, and recent deployments and presents you with a coherent timeline. 3:03 a.m., you look at it and approve an instant rollback. Bam! A fragmented 30-minute nightmare is fully resolved in just 3 minutes. Or let's take another super common scenario. You just type, "Why is Redis cache restarting?" Instead of manually grepping through lines and lines of noisy terminals, Athena intelligently investigates the logs, the container states, and cluster events to actually find the root cause, like, say, an out-of-memory kill, and then presents you with the exact context you need to fix it right then and there. Which leads us straight into Section 5, Secure Supervised Autonomy and the Governance Toolkit. Now, if you're a seasoned SRE, you naturally have some serious, very justified skepticism about giving an AI access to your production infrastructure, right? But the crucial point is that Athena doesn't just generate blind shell scripts for you to copy-paste. It actually uses an open standard model context protocol toolkit made up of 48 very specific operational primitives. These tools cover everything from the deployment lifecycle and container operations to canary deployments, SRE automation, infrastructure observability, and security. Every single action it takes is a typed, validated API call. And the guardrails baked into this tiered command security are strict. Number 1, diagnostic commands like pings or env are auto-approved, so Athena can investigate issues autonomously. Number 2, any state-changing commands absolutely require your explicit consent before execution. And number 3, destructive commands are permanently denied. Athena literally cannot wipe out your database or wreck production on a whim, even if you explicitly instructed it to do so. Odysseus even matches Kubernetes on the enterprise-grade security front. We're talking 4-tier RBAC, vault-backed secrets securely mounted on TMP-FES, so you literally never leak an environment variable, continuous CVE scanning, and a complete audit trail that directly maps every single AI action back to the human user's identity. But the true beauty of it keeps all of this complex setup entirely automated and hidden from you. It just works. Well, that brings us to our final slide and a provocative question to leave you with. Is it time to start talking to your servers? By replacing the mental overload of fragmented tools with an intelligent conversational interface, Odysseus lets you manage your infrastructure the way it honestly should be managed in the first place. I really hope this explainer challenged you to rethink your own deployment workflows. Until next time, keep your system stable, and here's to stress-free deployments.